We need competition.
Oh, I love that.
Competition in general is what drives innovation and change. It lifts all of us. Why are we so afraid of competition? I know why. It's scarcity mindset.
Yep.
You think there's X amount of clients, and if another salon does good, that means someone has to do bad. That's not true. It doesn't hold up.
Yep.
What's up? What's up? Today we are giving you some of our do's and don'ts of business. So whether you're a current owner, future plans of owning a business, or you're just curious, we got you. Welcome back to our show. My name is Todd, here with my wife and business partner, Jen.
Hello.
Hi. We're the co-owners of Hello Hair Co., which is our salon and barbershop, and co-owners of Hello Hair Pro, which is our education and mentoring business. You're listening to the Hello Hair Pro podcast. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Ping Pong Design and Marketing.
Ping pong.
You like how I paused for that?
Yeah, you've been good with that lately.
Do you want to love your website again, or are you looking for more clients to fill your business? Ping Pong is offering our audience a special discount on any website or digital marketing campaign. So visit the show notes, reach out to Chris, and talk to him about your needs. Ping Pong, not just for hair pros, but the entire health, beauty, and fitness industries, and whatever else you have going on. Reach out either way. On to the show. All right, so do's and don'ts. We actually, a while back, got a request for, I think it was like basics, like some business basics. Like where should I start? What should I focus on? So I've had this do's and don'ts list in the back of my head for a while. Why do I feel like something's off?
I don't know.
I feel like something's off with the audio. Anyways, thought we'd put it together. So, but why is this even important? I'll go first. So I feel like this is, someone's prepared, someone's not. No, I'm just kidding. So the reason I feel like this is such a solid topic is pretty simple. Like if you put in honest work with an honest effort behind it, you'll be successful. Now, that might not be today or tomorrow, or even when you want.
Correct.
But when you stack the odds in your favor, like I truly believe that you're going to be successful. But, and this is always Todd's butts, right? Here we go, right? Let's stir it up. So I see so many people just jumping in with no plan, no experience, no guiding principles. And I just think that's a recipe for disaster. Now, again, like I said earlier, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. You might luck out for a while.
Yeah. But you're going to hit a bump.
Yeah, if you don't
mountain.
Look at this stuff before you open your salon or your booth or your suite or whatever you're opening.
And it's way harder to backpedal to try to fix it and restart.
Way harder.
It's really difficult.
You will eventually struggle. And I want to see less of that for people. There are so many salons and shops. All businesses struggle, but in this industry, I feel like people excessively struggle when you don't have to. You just need to be a little more open-minded and shift your mindset.
I would agree with that 100%.
You have to, you can't be a know-it-all. Oh, that's not even in the don't list. You should add that to the don't list.
Don't be a know-it-all.
You can't do stuff. So I just think everyone can be successful in their own right, and there's room for everyone.
Yeah, I think this industry...
I might not want you at my fucking business, but there's room for you.
Yeah, I think this industry does tend to, and maybe all do. This is just the one I've been in for a very long time. I'm going to say attract spazzes. I'm a spaz, so I can say it because I am a spaz. And
what do you mean by spaz?
When you're a spaz,
like just freaking out all the time?
You just get an idea in your head and like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make it work. And you kind of learn from when you start school, like fake it till you make it. So
wrong.
I think that's
such shitty advice.
I know. And I think there's meaning behind it in the sense of, obviously, when you're starting out with anything new, you've got to put some confidence behind you and you have to try to like present yourself in a way that you're somewhat knowledgeable till you can get kind of like your growth going and all that. And so that people will trust you when you're doing their hair. That's kind of what they mean. I think like fake it till you make it, like keep working on your skill set, but try to show up with some confidence or as much as you can so that you can do the clients. But I think what happens with that mindset is the spazzes in us get an idea and we're like, I'm just going to do this and I'm just going to fake it till I make it and I'll make it work. And in the beginning, I think that can happen and you can make it work, but there's a point where you hit the wall. And I did it with my first business. So I'm speaking from my own experience where you hit a wall and you get to a point where like you're whatever avenue you're in, independent, stylist, like employee, owning a business, whatever it is, where you need to grow, you need to do certain things, but now you're at a loss. You're afraid to make decisions or changes in that business that will really give you growth and take it next level because you are afraid to lose everything you just put in, which is really probably not as much effort as you actually think it is because you literally did the fake it till you make it and threw it up there. But you're still afraid of those changes creating losses because there was no system in place to where you got there. So if you make a change that's more systematic, you're like, well, now where do I go? What do I do? And all of this. So I think the spaz in all of us thinks we can do all the things until we get to a point where we realize, whoa, this is going to be some work. Because without a system in place, without metrics, I'm just going to be treading water here.
Cool story. So here's my question then. Who's responsible for that fake it till you make it mentality? The schools? Is that, you said that's what we're taught. So
I think it comes down to the actual individual, but they feel like they're just going to figure it out and it's not enough. You're just not going to get ahead.
No.
Or to be profitable.
So I think that people should focus on more mindset before we dive into the actual topics.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Diverse. It's great.
And no, I think it ends up coming, it's always on the individual person. You need to take responsibility for yourself, even if you got bad advice.
We can add that to the do list because that's not on there either. But so my take on the fake it till you make it is that that's trash. And here's why. People should be learning confidence and mindset, not how to fake stuff. Yeah. Because I have to stop saying that. I see it almost daily. And why we see so many people that believe they should be further than they are because they believe in their head that they're better than they are. But you don't get a reward for something you haven't done yet.
Correct.
So everyone wants to be a master, whatever, master at whatever specific thing they do, but they didn't put in the work. So fake it till you make it is bad, in my opinion.
And putting in the work isn't just going to school or even just taking a class.
No,
it's literally putting in the actual work. No, I know, but I'm sure there's people thinking like, I put in the work. I went to school.
Oh,
then
cool.
I went and did this other school and I did this other program and I did this other educational. But what are you doing with all of that information? What are your actionable steps that are making those things actually putting in the work? The work wasn't taking the class.
Some of this goes back to like the licensure thing. Like a licensure sets the minimum.
Yeah.
It's your barrier to entry and everyone has to do it. So it's not a top, you don't get to bring that up.
What you do after
I went to school,
is what's important.
So did I.
Right. That's just a piece of paper to allow you to work.
Right. Either way, I don't want to talk about licensure because it's dumb. We'll talk about it again though. We did do an episode. I don't know what episode, but we did talk about it.
We could revisit that.
It's a silly topic. But anyways, let's dive in to the do's.
Okay.
I was going to flip this, but then I was like, the don'ts and do's? No.
Mm-hmm. Do's and don'ts. Just
try to be
better.
Yeah. Don't try to be so different that you look like everyone else. All right. So do. This is the first one. I know what you're going to say.
Oh, cool. Can't wait to see what I'm going to say.
You have to start with a mission, vision, and core principles.
Oh, yes.
Core values, whatever you want to call them. Look, you need that stuff. There's no way around it. If you open and you do not have those things laid out,
you can't make
eventually
any decisions.
You're going to topple.
Yeah.
Because your business is never going to have a direction. And we'll get into why direction is important later. But like, for example, you roll into somewhere, say you're working with an investor or a bank, right? You roll in there for a meeting and they ask you a question. And you're like, oh, I don't know, I have to think about it. What? You should have already thought about it.
Right.
They're not there to trick you.
And
they're asking you questions to see.
The core values all support that.
They're asking you questions to see if you have a game plan. And if you don't, I'm not going to invest in you. Right. So I just think stop fighting it and have that stuff.
And if you are like, shoot, I don't have that and I've been running my business for however long.
Just get it.
Just do it. Sit down this weekend. Make it an actionable goal. Be like, this weekend, before next week starts, I'm going to lay out my mission, my core values, all of what needs to happen so that my decision making becomes way easier, more consistent, and you start to build your business. You can do that. Step one.
Yeah, it's step one with
You don't
everyone.
have it? You
Everyone
can.
that I talk to, even on a free intro call
Yeah.
with people, I'm like, where are you at with your mission, vision, and core values?
And that might be something, if you're listening, like, I don't even know.
Because I ask because I need to know where we're going.
How do you mentor someone if you don't know
where they're trying to get?
Right, that's their first homework. So if you're like, whoa, that just seems like so much work. I'm so overwhelmed just by you,
Welcome.
Todd and Jen saying that.
Welcome to being an actual owner, not just writing it on your Instagram.
Book a complimentary call. Let's at least lay out a few things to help you get that started. So at least you can really, truly feel like you're showing up to your business and you're owning it and you have an identity within it.
I think I have owner or co-owner written twice on my Instagram.
Oh, I think mine is just co-owner.
It's not important. I just pick on it all the time.
No, it's
I think
one
the
gives a
first
shit.
the first thing people do when they're like going to maybe look into a business is write owner on their Instagram.
Oh my God.
And
I
I'm
meet
like,
so many
stop
people
doing that.
and they're like, this salon's so beautiful. And I'll talk about it, whatever. And like, who owns it? Like we could have been talking for an hour and I'm like, oh, I co-own this with my husband. Like, oh, you do? Like, I'm not like,
I don't tell people unless they ask.
I'll tell them all about it because I get so excited, but they don't know that I'm the owner. Even clients I'll be talking to and they're like, oh, you own this? I'm like, yeah, I do. But
All right. So another do, you're going to want to create pretty early on your accounts. So your LLC, whatever you're establishing your business as, you're going to want to request your EIN number. You're going to want to set up your bank accounts, establish relationships, stuff like that.
Insurance. Yes.
Yeah. Insurance, not even on the list, but all of your accounts and things that you'll need. If you need supplies from a beauty supply place, have that set up. Set up your accounts.
Yes.
Create your accounts.
I got to wait on the don't I? Because we're on the do's.
We're on the do's, but so a lot of these things could be on either list depending on how you look at it. Like I could have wrote for don't wait to do your mission, vision, and core values, right? I mean,
yeah.
So if you have something, I guess just say it.
So my don't would be, and I've seen this often as I've met with people that are going out on their own, trying to open a salon or whatever. Don't just copy the salon you came from and either decide that you're going to carry the same color line because that's what they did and it's just easy for you. Like, does that color line actually fit your mission, your vision, your goals?
Probably not.
The retail, does it fit your mission, your vision, your goals?
Probably not.
I know. So like,
but
your pricing structure, does it fit that? Like you're like, oh, well, if they're doing this, I should be a little cheaper because I'm on, or I should be a little more expensive. It needs to have a thought process to it. So the don't is just don't continue. If you're going out on your own or you're even going to a new salon, reinvent yourself. What are you looking for? Don't do the same thing.
So do reinvent yourself.
Do reinvent yourself often and always, please.
All right. The next thing I had on this list was to know your strategic differences. So unique value proposition is another term for it.
We work with our staff on this right now, actually.
We are. Yeah. So either way, whatever, I don't care what you call it. Unique value proposition, strategic differences, whatever.
What sets you apart?
What separates you from the other 10,000 fucking hair pros in your town?
Mm-hmm. Very, very, very important.
People, and we'll get there, are very different. They are looking for you, not your salon, not the name on the door.
Yeah, be your own
They're
brand.
looking for you. What separates you? So if you're an employee, what separates you? Why would somebody pick you when they're coming in to get a service and they've never been in the salon and you're an employee there?
And if you're an employee,
do you stand out?
Right.
Or do you blend in? Because we've had people in the past that do not stand out, that have done people's hair. These people have left and then the clients come back, but they don't even remember who they saw. They're like, I don't remember. I
use the word non-rememberable.
Yeah. Is that a word?
I don't know.
So you have to know what separates you.
And if you're listening to this and you're like, no one's ever asked me, I never thought of it that way.
Start now.
Right. Just make a list. What makes you special?
I just told you.
What we've advised our stylist right now.
That sounded aggressive.
It's okay. We've have our employees right now going through this little exercise. Like, pick your top 3 favorite clients where you're like, I wish all my clients were like them. Ask them, why do you keep coming to me? Because you might get a response that you didn't think of. Maybe something that you offer that you didn't realize was unique to them. And then you can start putting that list together and that's sort of the market you start to strategically differentiate yourself from.
Right.
That was very wordy.
Yep.
I'm good at being wordy.
I know.
Don't be so wordy.
Yeah, wait on that one. So, all right, let's move on. Or do you have any more words to say?
No.
All right. So my next tip is to have a plan for everything, but to expect it to fail.
Oh, that's good.
You've got to be you need to be prepared. But what you prepare for is probably like a lot of it is never going to happen, or it's going to happen in a different way. So
yes,
be ready to get punched in the face or the mouth or however you want to think about it. Sometimes it's the gut.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I didn't see that coming. For example, we had a plan to open our salon and then COVID.
Yeah. The week we were supposed to open.
It was a friggin' spin kick to the throat.
See that coming.
No one saw that coming. So, we saw it coming when it was too late, but we had already signed a lease and already ordered everything. Yeah, it was terrible.
And in those instances, learn how to pivot, feel what you got to feel, find the bright side. What can you learn from it? What can you do better?
It's a good one. Yeah. So have a plan. And then I think a lot of this stuff might seem redundant, but I think the practice of building plans and figuring things out makes it so that you can pivot quicker because you're already used to it. You have a process of we have a process of when something happens, depending on the severity or if it's bad or if it's good, we have a plan to what do we extract from this? What are we using? Where do we go? Have we dealt with this before?
Yep. You often are asking, what are we learning from this?
Have we already solved this problem, but we just failed on implementation somewhere? Like there's a lot of different things to think about, but
yeah, I think too, and maybe this could be your next one. We'll see. Surprise me with a plan. So do have a plan. And then next, do you have the actionable steps to support that plan and make that plan come to life?
That's what a plan is. Actionable steps.
So here's the thing.
But you have to pair it with a strategy.
So what I think a lot of people do is they have a plan as in they write it down in a notebook, but they don't do anything with it. They just put the plan down. So that's why I like to say have a plan, have actionable steps, because just because you wrote down a plan, that plan is not going anywhere except sitting in that notebook or in your phone, wherever you wrote it down. So I often say the actionable steps part, I guess because that's my personality. I used to have plans, but never got there. I'm like, why is this not working? I actually didn't do anything.
Because you didn't have a strategy to implement.
So that's why I say that part with it, because if you're like-minded like me, you're I got all these plans, but you haven't done anything with it to put it into action because you didn't have actionable steps. You mean if you're like me? If you're like-minded like me? You don't need all those words, kid. I can't help it.
You've got to help it. When we get to the don'ts, don't be overly wordy. All right.
You can be like me, though. Just don't be so wordy.
So you can be whatever you want, people. Don't listen to Jen. Comment below. All right. So my next do was some research.
Okay.
So you're going to want to look into demographic, psychographic, geographic, those sort of things. And this is
it's not hard to do. You showed me where you go for that. I'm like, that's so easy. When you say that, I would be like, oh, that's way too hard, but it's not.
So if you're not 100% sure, real quick. So demographics are your basic stuff. You should know this stuff about your clients and potential clients. So age, sex, marital status, children, occupation, education, race, religion, stuff like that. The basics of a person. What makes a person a person? Psychographics, I don't know how much people look into those. I don't see it spoken about a lot.
What is a psychographic?
Exactly. So that's your more personality traits. What is somebody's hobbies? What are their interests? What are their beliefs? What are their values? What's their sort of lifestyle? That's a psychographic. What makes up their mind? Okay. What makes up the person?
Makes sense.
What was the other one I said? Geographics is basically your location, where these people at, or country, state, city, street, zip code, however you want to do it.
Right.
And then there's more. You can break out these segments, but you can look at behavioral. So behavioral sort of grouping. I lost my words there. Would be somebody's online habits, their shopping habits, their loyalty, and what they're looking for. So what problems do they have that you might be able to solve?
Okay.
Right. And then from that, what you do with that information is you build your avatars. And when you build your avatars, they're very, very specific, or you can get into as specific as you want. I think a lot of people look at an avatar and they're like, I want 18 to 29-year-old females that are single and have a dog. Okay. That's not a very specific person. There are billions of those.
Mm-hmm.
You can't service billions.
No, you can't.
So you build your avatars, and that creates an opportunity. It creates an opportunity to speak directly.
You mean like with your marketing and that kind of stuff? Like, so when you start to put out your content, that's the people you're attracting. So make sure that your content is what those people want to click and stop on.
Yeah, man. That's it.
Okay. I like it.
Because, if you're putting out, well, I think we're going to get to marketing stuff, but if you're marketing to everyone, you're going to get a couple people, but not as many as if you market to specifics. And it's counterintuitive for a lot of people because they think, well, if I'm too specific, if I want 20 to 35-year-old, pilots that whatever, like, you know what I mean? Who go to church 3 times a week. Well, it's real easy to find those people and talk directly to them. Mm-hmm. So be specific on your building your avatars.
And you'll enjoy what you do more because you'll be getting the clients that have similar interests like you.
That you want.
Yeah.
Clients
so the relationship will build very fast.
Next thing I have here is to build strategies when you're launching new things.
Do build strategies. Okay.
So we don't have to get crazy on this one, but you're going to have your plan or your action steps. And then what does your implementation look like?
Yes.
Dates, why it's going to work, the thought process behind it, when you're launching it, stuff like that.
That's very important because that actually is where it starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a start date. Like, I'm going to get this done by this date.
And here's why.
Right.
Because I need to work on this.
This way you're not going into the next month,
here's
the next
why.
month.
Right.
Yeah. The accountability part, right?
Yeah. I mean, to your team or yourself. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. So this next one is big, real big. And do this. If you're starting out, you have a massive upper hand on the other side, which would be like to try to go back and do this, right? You mentioned it earlier, but build systems.
Yeah, if you're just starting out,
document your shit as you go.
This is the part where I'm like, you have the time right now. Even if you're like, you feel inside literally there's a fire that's like, I have to get this done right now. I got to get this place open, whatever. Before that, put that out a month and take the month to put your systems in place, to find your mission, your core value, to get your whole self organized. So then when you go to do everything else, you are ready to roll and literally just build the business, make your money, go.
Agreed. I think building systems. So why this is so important is to avoid stuff like micromanaging down the road. Look, no one is going to care about your business as much as you.
Correct.
You're never going to find a team member that's like family. No. Stop that stuff. Don't do that.
No, they're not invested like you.
No, at all. They shouldn't be invested at all.
Correct. So it's just...
I mean, unless they're an investor. And I don't mean that they don't care about the business, but it's not their responsibility to stay up at night stressing. That's
right, and they don't have the risk and they didn't put in all the...
That's your responsibility. Correct. So you've got to be able to move from behind the chair at some point and work on higher value tasks. If you're in there in the morning... unlocking the door, I don't mean 100%. I mean, if you're doing it like a couple times a week because that's what you do, fine. But if you're the only one that ever can open, you're the only one that can close, you're the only one that mops, you're the only one that cleans the stations, you're the only one that knows how to answer the phone. And then sooner or later, you're like, this business is overwhelming. Yeah, you don't have a business.
Right.
You're just running around doing everything.
Right.
And when people
Which means you're not working on your business. At
all. No, you're just working in it, grinding, and you're going to break something eventually. You're going to bust a gear in your head and friggin' lose your shit because you can't do it all.
And it happens.
Yeah,
and
sure.
If you're listening, you're like, that's me. Oh my God.
Great.
I'm going to lose my shit.
Call us.
Yeah. You lose your shit and you get it back together. Now you just had a solution. Like, holy crap, if I put some systems in place, my life could be a lot better. I don't have to do all of that stuff. I can delegate it or have the system so they get done. And now I can focus on growing my business. Ooh, what a thought.
And if you're listening and you thought something like, well, I've tried before, but no one, was good at it or whatever, that's a fault in your systems. Why were they not good at it? Right. Well, they didn't care. They're not going to care. Why were they not good at it?
There's something that needed to change.
Well, they didn't follow my system. Well, your system wasn't clear enough, or they didn't understand the mission and vision and the values of your business, so they couldn't make decisions as you would make decisions.
Right. There's so many things you can fix with that.
The next one I have on here, and I'm going to actually skip one, is to build a team.
Yeah.
So whether you are like, in my opinion, like you don't have a business unless it can run when you're not there.
Correct.
So I know, I understand that being an independent stylist is like you're an owner. I get it. Technically, you own your
right.
Like a little micro business, but you can't generate any income when you're not there.
Right.
Maybe even retail. You could do some affiliate links.
Mm-hmm. Which if you're not, you should, because then you
could generate retail while you sleep. Yeah.
It would at least get you, yes, while you're not working, where you could make some money.
But if you're a salon owner, like we're helping some people that have a rental salon switch their salon back to commission. Not back to, but they want to be a commission salon.
Yes.
And build a team, because they were like, we can't picture how we would ever make more money.
Right.
Right. You're not going to. It's just you.
Right. All on.
So you have to build a team. Next one I have here is have goals.
We should do a podcast on building a team, because that's a good one. I don't think we have.
Okay. I'll put it in the notes right now.
Next one. Go ahead.
Hold on. I have to put building a team. All right.
Yeah.
Back to the show. So where are we? Have goals.
Yes.
You
Big ones, small ones, long ones, short ones.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I'm starting to shift a little more. Like, so dream bigger than you think. Mm-hmm. Think bigger than you think.
I love that.
Because no matter where you're at, so building a business is a lot of fucking work. Whether it's a small little business, say you start a food truck. You're like, how much work could this be? I don't know, 100 hours of your time a week?
Right.
Or I want to build a massive business and provide jobs to like dozens of people or hundreds even of people. Mm-hmm. Those are going to cost you value-wise or time investment-wise, probably the same.
Yeah.
So why not shoot bigger than you are?
Yeah.
I just think if you're going to invest that much time and effort and risk into something, you should have a big upside. It's not just money either, but money is part of it. And I think money, I think, so here's another do for you. Start to think about money differently. Money, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the relationships, or I love the people. Great. That's cute. Here's the deal. You know what money does? It solves problems. That's all it does. Mm-hmm. It puts power in your corner. So if you have some cause, like I think I've said this before, but if you want to go save the dolphins or whatever, save the whales, and you have money, it's a lot easier than if you just stand on the side of the road with a sign saying save the whales.
Right.
It's a really silly example, but I couldn't think of anything quickly.
And if you're opening a business, and I struggled this with my first business, and I'm one of those, and I'm like, it's about my relationships and this and that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I need to make money to support our family, to support our lifestyle, like whatever that is. And then to grow the business further so it can be where we want it to be too. Like that's just
so that it could support other people's desires.
Yeah.
Create opportunities for them, for our employees. Yeah. Rolling off of building a team, I have a lawyer. So a lawyer is always someone that you
do have a lawyer.
You need to, we have a team actually.
And if you're like, oh, lawyers are so expensive, I don't need that. Let me tell you this.
It's a lot cheaper to have it now.
A lot. Well, you're going to get in situations and it's going to be more expensive because you didn't have the dang lawyer. You got to have the lawyer.
You have to have a lawyer to go over your lease. If you don't, gosh, that's a major mistake. Because there's stuff that you can't see. You might think that you're smart enough or that you read it slow. Trust me, just have a lawyer look at it. Even
their insight. Like when we were reviewing our lease, we were talking about, do we do long-term this? And our lawyer gave us great insight points, like to do's and don'ts, pros and cons.
You don't need the points. I'm just picking on you. Gave us great insight points to do.
Of why we might want to do a long-term, why we might want to do a short-term, and just things to think about that I think we were all in on, like this long-term thing. And he just shed some light on different scenarios, which allowed us to make a better decision on how we were going to sign our lease.
For sure. So real quick about a lawyer too, like we had a couple situations come up with our landlord. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get into the details of it, but when I spoke to our lawyer, he was like, Todd, we've got two options. we can send a letter and just state the facts, and hopefully that's enough, or we can go to fucking war. And when I heard him say that, I was like, we don't need to go to war. But when I heard him say that, I was like, well, I have someone that has my back.
Yeah.
So now I don't have to stress if something really like trying comes up where we need legal counsel. I'm confident.
Right.
I'm good.
Absolutely.
I don't want to deal with that stress. That's not what I'm saying, but it's going to help a lot. I don't even have to make a phone call to find a lawyer. I have one.
Correct. And prior to that, we were trying to deal with some things on our own, and some things came up, and it was like, it's just time. Like, this is just getting ridiculous, and I shouldn't be stressed about things that someone else can just write a letter.
The other people that I have on here, I have a mentor, and the right mentor, coach, whatever. I don't care what you call it, but find somebody.
The right one.
Yeah, the right one. So find somebody that's been where you are, or that's there, or whatever, right?
Yeah. And
work with them. You don't even have to pay. You can find people to follow online. So many people put out so much free information that you can find an online mentor. Or maybe you have a family member that's run a business in the past and they're like, you know what? I'd love to talk to you about it. Or go ahead.
There's even the small business group that you'll get on the phone with her like once a month. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a New Hampshire thing, but
no, every state has it. Small business development.
Put it in the show notes,
or whatever.
Because it's a free.
All states have that.
Okay,
yeah.
And it's just another tool, and it's free. Like
it is, and they might not know your exact scenarios in your exact industry, but they have a general vibe, which is pretty cool. And then so you need a numbers person, an accountant. You have to have that. So we just had, so we have some goals and some plans to grow our business. We want to take this thing to the next level, and we want to take Hello Hair Pro to the next level. So we set up a meeting with our guy, who is amazing. If you need someone, reach out. And we met him in person, and we sat down with a whole bunch of numbers, and he was like, okay, here is what I pulled up based on what you said. And then we got to ask some questions, and he was like, okay, let's look at these numbers because that'll make more sense. And now we have a clearer vision of our business as a whole. And
so does he. So he's done extra things for us outside of it now, knowing that, which is super cool. On the side of the accountant, you do what you want, and I've done it both ways. I think if you can, in my opinion, find an accountant that also will do your bookkeeping, it's a much better seamless relationship. Because I've had it where I've had the bookkeeper and the accountant, and it just gets really messy and things get missed. So if you can find an accountant that does it all, it's the best money you will ever spend. Ours does that. That's why I say
true
that.
Story.
Yeah. And like I said, I've had it all different ways.
And definitely if you don't have someone, is it state by state? I don't know. If you're local, reach out. And if you're not, we can probably help you find someone anyways, because we can just ask him.
Yeah. And if you
want someone in your area, like I'm sure he can help.
I've been in business now 15, 16 years, and I think he's my third or fourth accountant, and he is the best one. I need to retire before he does. How about that? Or
true story.
Refer us out, but yeah, he's that good.
So another thing too, when you're building these relationships and you're building out a team, ask them. So it's a cost, right? It's an investment on a business. Great. Just reach out. And that's how I started. Like, how do we get the most out of this relationship? How do I get the most out of this relationship for my business? And if they can't answer you, move on. But we got very clear answers. Here's what we should do. We should meet to start. And then we'll reevaluate, reassess, and look at things in the future. All right. Those were the do's. You have any other do's?
No.
All right, cool. Let's move on. So, don't. The first don't I want to say is don't avoid any of the things on our to-do list. So
that's the best one you could give. You could just stop right there.
Another don't I have here, and some of these are a little silly and it's just kind of for fun, but don't start with a name.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have even like a concept.
Yeah.
They don't have anything ironed out, but they're like, I'm going to call it whatever.
So this goes back to the spaz life. The color scheme, the name. Those are the easy things and those are the fun things. So I think it's like, oh, I have a name and I have my colors and I have my logo, but like
logo was next.
You don't, right? You don't have an actual business because the hard part is what you're avoiding. That's why you have to do all our do steps first. Like get the actual business.
Well, yeah, if you
together.
So we've seen it where people come up with names and then they're not available. So I had someone, I registered my gym name and started building out all of the other stuff for the gym, which was like nothing because I didn't know then what I know now. But either way, fast forward, I get a phone call from a woman just in tears. And I'm like, huh? What is happening? And at first she can't even speak. I think she found my number on our website and called me. Or actually, no, the state might have given it to her. My contact info. Either way, these two women, they built out an entire business. They had their signage made. They had everything done because they were focused on their logo, their colors, their name, and they never thought to check if it was available. I had already registered the name. So I was able to give them like written permission to operate under that name. I felt terrible though. They didn't know what they were like. We're bankrupt. We're done. Because signs are, they had everything done. They had a website built. I'm like, you never thought to fucking check the name? What are you doing?
Yeah, luckily they got you because someone else could have been like, cool.
Someone else probably would have been
or
like,
pay me this amount of money for me to do it.
Or they would have been like, screw you, go out of business. Less competition, scarcity mindset.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So also don't start with the logo. Don't even put that close to your top of your list. And again, we know somebody that grabbed a logo from, I just think the internet, like images.
Oh, that's right.
And they promptly got served with a cease and desist because some company was like, that's our fucking logo. You can't use that. And I'm like, you just pulled this from online?
I remember that.
You literally thought you could just take something off a line and use it? What? Why? Why would you think that?
And she was mad too. And I'm like, well, it's not yours.
She was mad. Yeah. All right. So here's another don't. Like, don't skip laying out your roles and tasks, especially if you have a business partner.
Yes.
But if you have a staff, equally as important, because how is anybody going to know
if anybody's working under your roof,
anything
you need
if
roles
you
and
don't
tasks.
lay out what they're responsible for?
Yep.
And I'll slide right into the next one. Don't skip an employee handbook.
Yep.
It's a lot of work to put one together. Can't even be simple to
start,
but just start.
Yeah.
And put all your operating procedures, all the roles, all the tasks, all the contact info, all your vision, mission,
and that's a
like
living
all
document
that stuff
for us. Like we're always reevaluating it
all the time.
But you need to get it established so that, again, people know what they're doing.
For sure. If
and then you don't have to micromanage.
Right. If you want to avoid that micromanagement, just have it laid out. It's a lot of work. But
owning a business is a lot of work.
I know.
Period.
I think
a lot of people, people will say to me sometimes, well, not recently, but used to, like, you're so lucky you own a business, you get a flexible schedule. I'm like, if that's what you think is the bonus of owning a business, oh, fuck. I wish that was like, I get to own a business so I can have a flexible schedule. Owning a business is tough shit. It's a hard ride, ups and downs. You got to dig deep. And if you don't do this work to start, and you're like, well, this is a lot of work, well, then maybe you shouldn't be owning a business.
Probably not.
Especially if you're going to be hiring people to work under your roof, because if you collapse, like you didn't have anything really to ever offer them. It's not fair.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't skip the employee handbook. What's next? Oh, this is a good one. So don't assume anything.
Yeah.
So here's a quick tale for you. I overlooked something. I just assumed, right? Here's what happened. Our furniture was finally being delivered. Now, we opened through the pandemic, so there was a whole lot of waiting and uncertainty and all that stuff, right? It's bullshit, pandemic. So what I assumed is the furniture would just show up and magically be there. So these guys basically dropped off the furniture outside and the truck drove away. And I was like, fuck me. Well, now what? Luckily, we had some builders, our build team there.
They were amazing.
And so our designer was like, all right, well, I can't wait to see it finished. And I was like, that's it. You just showed up for it to be dropped outside. Now, I just assumed. So I didn't know to ask. I didn't know to ask. I assumed it wasn't coming fully put together, but maybe close. I don't know.
Semi.
So anyways, I was shocked by that, but it's my fault because I didn't ask the question. I just assumed it would be all set. I assumed we would slide the furniture in.
Mm-hmm. And this is part of owning a business. You literally will get shocked from time to time.
Yeah.
And you will learn how to ask better questions, more thought-provoking, or have a better plan or a better system.
For sure.
What you do with that. You pivot. Otherwise, you leave your shit out in the parking lot and you're like, I'm just fucked. I can't open. Like,
if I didn't have people there, I don't know how I would have got the stuff inside.
Yeah.
Some of those pieces were so heavy that there would have been no way for me to move it.
We did plan a good team to build us out.
Yeah. And so in my defense, and it's not an excuse, but we did have the pandemic and all that stuff. So that was new. That's not even a business thing. Like no one in 100 years have dealt with anything like that. So
that's a curveball that you just...
It threw off so many other things because I probably would have asked like, so is there a pallet jack? How much does this weigh? Like, because I knew the dimensions of some of the stuff, but I just didn't think to ask it. So again, be ready to get punched in the face with your plan because it's going to happen. All right, here's another don't. Don't put stuff off or avoid dealing with problems.
Great.
Got to attack stuff in some sort of timely manner. So the time frame is going to vary. Maybe someday or something is going to require like a 24-hour think period. Maybe you might need a few minutes to think about something, or maybe you need weeks or a month or more. You might need years to like collect data for whatever. So don't put stuff off. Don't rely, here's one that I see, on this sort of mindset of if I build it, they will come. You can't, why would they come?
Yeah, your vision is yours. It's your baby. And it doesn't mean anyone else gives a fuck or is going to buy into what you're doing. So you've got a
not when you start. They don't. You have to build the relationships
and your
stuff.
Reputation. And when
they have to know you exist, they have to like you and then trust you, and then maybe they'll come in.
Correct.
Because odds are they're already going to a salon.
Right.
So it's a lot of work to open this thing, and that's cool. But it brings us to our next don't, which is don't avoid marketing. And so when you're starting out, I hear people about this too. Like, well, I have X amount of clients. Okay, cool. That's cute. And then they'll say something like, I get a lot of referrals. Right. But what happens when you don't?
Right.
What happens when your clients move?
The marketing
lose
aspect
their jobs,
is
whatever.
So important. And I really do feel that there's a lot of con artists out there in the marketing world. And I say that
definitely are,
because I've been in business a long time. And yes, I'll plug ping pong because Chris is amazing. But until
we have metrics that we could.
Until we met Chris, I had fallen on my ass many a times with people that said they could market or do certain things that did nothing or blamed it on shit. And I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know how to
fire them,
measure that. Well, yeah. So prior to meeting Chris and ping pong, and even that, I was like, I'm not sold on anything because I had just been duped because I don't know that world.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that just are like, I can do that. I can market. I can make your website. I can do it, but they really can't. But if you don't know how to do it, then you have to trust them because they're saying they can do certain things. Chris was the first person that I met that actually delivered on what he fucking said, which is ping pong
for marketing.
Yeah,
for sure. And it's been the best results by
absolutely
far,
measurable, actual results.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at on this list? Don't. Oh, here's a good one. This is for people that might be moving or might be looking to open a new location or whatever. Don't allow a specific location, to make you make bad decisions.
Oh, yes.
I see people that are like, I have to put my business there. No, you don't.
I've seen people put a poll out. What town do you think I should put my business in?
What?
I have seen that.
Stop.
I'm not lying.
I mean, surveys are cool and survey people, but I hope that's not the deciding factor. Well, you voted.
You got to put it where it's best for you.
This one's 7 hours of travel for me, but that's what the people want.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I've seen locations, people, because you look at stuff and you're like, I can, especially if you're creative and you have like the ability to like visualize things that aren't there, which I can do.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to control that, because it's easy to walk into a place, find some beauty in it or some inspiration, and then want it. And it happened to me several times. I looked at some locations and I was like, I looked at the details that I could have replicated somewhere else that weren't that big of a deal. And I was overlooking or making light of other certain things, like, oh, I don't know, this building needs to be leveled.
Right.
You know, that was some shit.
Yep.
When I got an engineer to come in and inspect some stuff and realize that the building was trash.
Yeah.
So don't let a location make you like crazy about it, because it's easy for a location to seduce us, because you hear it all the time. Location, location, location. Yeah, but location, it not like that. Not like that. And we've seen some people take on spaces that are astronomically out of their budget, out of their price range. And again, now these people are just working just to pay their bills.
Right.
There's no profit.
Because they thought the location would bring in money just because of where they were sitting.
Right. And when you look at the math, it's not possible.
No.
So yeah, don't get seduced by a location. Here's another one that people I feel like need to hear, but don't ignore or hide from criticism. You're going to get bad reviews. You're going to get redos. You're going to get hate mails.
Oh yeah.
You're going to get
and it's hard not to take
shade
it personal.
Thrown at you. Yeah, it's really hard, but you need to work on your shit. You want to own a business. And
honestly, you need to work on your shit, and you need to learn how to let shit roll off. I had someone recently, you're going to cringe. I cringed. Still my client too. That was like, of all the salons you've owned or worked in, this one's not my favorite. Your couch isn't comfortable. My fucking couch. A couch.
Well, Betsy.
Yeah.
We're not a fucking bed and breakfast. So get off the couch and
you know what?
Hit the road.
I handled it like a fucking champ. I'm like, well, this is the best one I've owned. It's the one I like the best. See you next time.
Yeah.
Like, it stung a little, but then I was like, you're one person opinion. I don't care.
No. I mean, I care. I want the information, but if it's not anything that applies.
No, that doesn't matter. I don't even ask for it.
I don't like the couch. Well, this is a hair salon and shop. How'd you like your hair?
Still come back for 23 years, so.
Yeah, you're not bitching about that one, Betsy.
But it's
Hit
interesting
the road.
What can hurt your feelings at a moment, but you just got to go with it. Like, you're not going to please everybody, and you shouldn't even want to.
That's a good don't have feelings.
Don't have feelings.
If you want to work with someone that can help teach you that. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So here's one that we see in the hair industry, but don't think competition is bad. We need competition.
Oh, I love that.
Competition in general is what drives innovation and change. It lifts all of us. Why are we so afraid of competition? I know why. It's scarcity mindset.
Yep.
You think there's X amount of clients, and if another salon does good, that means someone has to do bad. That's not true. It doesn't hold up.
Yep.
Get that shit out of your head.
And if you've laid out...
I'm not done. I'm on a tear. I'm on a rant. I don't even remember what I was going to say.
If you've laid out your strategic differences, welcome the competition, because you're not them. You're not like them. You're attracting your own type of people coming to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I don't want everyone. We can't how many people live in New Hampshire? Just the state. I can't service them all. We need other people. Yeah. We need competition. And we need good competition that's pushing boundaries and trying to do different stuff.
Level up your game.
That's kind of part of our plan with Hello Hair Pro. What we want to do is help change things. There are other people out there doing the same thing, and I respect them. There are other coaching platforms out there, mentoring platforms that are doing fucking amazing work. They're getting conversations started. They're getting people to get over that sort of, I need to know everything. If it looks bad, if I don't know everything as an owner, you have to get over all your insecurities. This isn't about you anymore. It's about your business. And your business becomes part of your identity, yes, but it's not the whole thing.
Correct.
So yeah, stop thinking competition is bad. It's actually really good.
I would agree.
It's great for just, like I said, innovation and driving change.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't want to be like everyone else on your block, fucking stand out.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do
Game
work, bitch about competition.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Because it's easier to complain than it is to actually build new things and try new things. All right. So last one on my list right here is don't assume that any of this is going to be easy.
I'm speechless because it's so true.
A lot of people out there assume that I'm just going to open.
Yeah.
Okay. And don't get me wrong. I think everyone at some point in their life should attempt owning a business.
Go for it.
Open a fucking lemonade stand. Doesn't matter. Guess what? How are you going to beat Timmy across the street? Because he's gunning for you.
Or my kids.
I saw
Their lemonade stand's good.
our kid set up a lemonade stand. Okay, they had regular lemonade and pink lemonade, and I was like, whoa, standing out with the offerings. Little kid up the street had lemonade, pink lemonade,
fruit punch.
And I was like, holy shit. And not only that, it wasn't on the same day, but I was like, I'm stopping. I could have a fruit punch right now. Sounds delicious. All right.
I have one to add real quick.
Yeah, do it.
There's going to be a lot of you that are like, oh shit, that's me. Don't spend your money before you make it. So, stylists out there, you all fucking do it. You got a busy week and you assume next week's going to be just as busy. So you're spending all your money. You're out there, TJ Maxx, going to the mall, going to the bar. And then next week.
Who goes to the mall?
I don't know. I went to the mall this weekend.
Oh, you did? Yeah, you did. That's right.
Next week, your week is shit, but you spent all your money from the week before. Don't do that shit. Because now you're stressed out. You have no money, except if you budgeted and you put money over here that's like, okay, this is my play money, but this is the money that goes to my bills. Don't spend any more. Because we know how that works. We got good weeks, we got bad weeks. You got to plan accordingly. If everybody cancels and you plan on all of them coming in and you already spent that money that week before it came in, that's shame on you, not on them. Don't do that. Stop doing that.
Yeah. Amen. Done. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
No.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a great day.
So if you guys enjoyed this episode, like a review on Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts would help us out a ton.
Please.
We'd really appreciate it. Even if you don't do that and you just tune in and listen, we still appreciate you.
Yes. You want some help? Book a call. Complimentary first one. We'd love to chat with you.
For sure.
I'll use all my words.
Yeah, you will. All right. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Bye.